Hey guys, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome aboard to the Daily Message. Really great to have you here. It's going to be a really good episode. As always, I will do my very best to keep this one nice and short. I know that some of you like the longer form, so the podcast link is under here. Podcast goes for about 20 minutes. I try and keep the videos short, so go and check out the podcast. Please make sure you have subscribed to this channel. Hit that subscribe button and then go and check out all the other links here. You can find out how to book me to speak live. I'm going to be hopefully speaking in the UK and Ireland maybe in November. So if you're in the UK, reach out and it may be a chance to get me across to speak wherever you are. So let's do that. And check out Karen's MasterClass for women. It is in the link here. You're going to love that too. Now, I'm going to jump into today's viewer question in a minute, but people often ask what I'm reading. I read so much. It's one of my great joys. It's raining here so much at the moment. The weather is terrible, so I've been reading more. It's just nice sitting inside when it's raining. Just finished this the other day. It's called Build by Tony Fadell, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, worked with Steve Jobs for many years. It's a great book about how to build something from scratch and all the lessons he learned in managing people and systems and entrepreneurship, and really liked that. Just about to finish, got about 5 pages to go of this. It's called You're Going to Be Okay. It's by Madeline Popelka. 16 lessons on healing after trauma. A great book on PTSD. Many of you know I've had my challenges over the years, and this book has just helped me to kind of grow in that area and learn more. So really interesting that she covers just a great range of related information about the PTSD journey, anxiety, depression. So some really good stuff in that from Madeline. We'll try and get her on the show hopefully very soon. And just on a tangent, I love this book. This is The Lords of Easy Money by Christopher Leonard. It's a deep dive into the internal workings of the US Federal Reserve central banking system. Many of you would know my other area of expertise is global finance and central banking, and so that's what I do in my spare time. So there's 3 current books that I'm reading. The other thing I mentioned in the podcast is just 2 little things that I'm doing recently, just in that whole well-being physical performance space. I'm using Athletic Greens every morning, AG1, so go check out Athletic Greens. It's just like a kind of multi-mineral vitamin drink that I have at about 4 a.m. every morning, Athletic Greens. I'm telling you this because people often ask, how do I do what I do and what are the parts that make it all come together? The other thing that I'm really interested in at the moment is this on my hand is an Oura ring, O-U-R-A. Look, check out the podcast because I go deep on this. It measures oxygen saturation, heart rate variability, heart rate, resting heart rate, and a whole bunch of other freaky stuff. How it does it, I do not know. But it ties into an app here, and it gives me incredible data on my sleep, my rest patterns, and gives you all these indications about where you're at physically. So it's a really powerful tool. I've always used like heart rate monitors and stuff for training, but this is next level. All right, so you've got 3 books there that I'm using. You've got Athletic Greens, you've got the Oura Ring. This is all filler, no killer. All killer, no filler today. Last thing, let's jump into the episode. I got a great question from Peter, who emailed me with a question about how do we turn shoulds into musts? Do you know what that means? It's like in our lives, we all have things that we should. We say to ourselves, I really should do this. I should get fitter. I should join a gym. I should spend more time with my kids. I should eat better. I should cook better meals. I should clean the house more often. Like should, right? Often we talk about shoulding all over ourselves, that we have this sense of we should do something and we're not. So I got a couple of notes here. And the first thing I want to say is why does the should-must gap even exist? Why is there a gap between should and must? Why do we even notice it? And I think we notice it because of what I would say is a teleological imperative. Teleology is the study of something's kind of potential, what it's for. So, a rough example would be, what is the teleology of a vacuum cleaner? Well, the teleology of a vacuum cleaner is to vacuum. That is its purpose. So what is the purpose of a human person? I mean, we could go deep on that, obviously. There's a lot to it. But teleologically speaking, I think the teleology of personhood, of being human, is growth, is potentiality, is becoming more of what we can possibly become, more compassionate, more courageous, more greater contributions, greater levels of well-being, right? We keep growing and learning. So I think the reason we notice the should-must gap is simply because we sense there's something we should be. And that's a good thing, right? If we didn't even have that, then we would stay exactly where we are all the time. There'd be no internal kind of nudge, this sense of, hang on, is there more to life? Is there something more we could be doing? So hold on to that principle first, because it's a good principle, the teleological imperative, that we intuitively sense that there's things we should be doing that we're not doing. That's a good thing, okay? What else? The recognition of the gap is a crucial thing. I think it helps us to grow. It comes from, here's what I want to suggest. I want to give you the simplest possible solutions to how you deal with the shoulds in your life. To do that, I'm going to suggest the insights of a scholastic philosopher of about the 14th century called Frederick of Occam. Some of you would have heard of the concept of Occam's Razor. Occam's Razor, it was like a razor to cut through really complex philosophical discussions. So the Occam's Razor principle is the simplest explanation for a complex series of facts is almost always the correct one. So Occam's Razor means the most obvious simple solution to a complex problem is usually the correct one. Not always, but most of the time. What has it got to do with you? Well, I'm going to use Occam's Razor in terms of shoulds and musts and turning your shoulds into musts. And I'm going to suggest two principles. If you are not turning a should into a must, it's because of one or two reasons. You either have not associated enough pain to staying exactly where you are, or you have not associated enough potential upside pleasure to making a should a must. Okay, you get it? So if you don't feel that, this is where Freud, I think, was right. I think Freud got a lot wrong, but I think what he did get right was the broad idea that the great motivating factors of the human experience are the avoidance of pleasure and the pursuit of pain. Let me invert that. The avoidance of pain and the pursuit of pleasure. If we're not turning a should into a must, it's because we don't associate enough pain with staying like where we are. So Peter's example was, people can say, I should eat better. So why don't they? Well, we could get all sorts of technical reasons and say, well, it's not practical and they're busy and their lifestyle. We can do all of that. But ultimately, there's not enough potential pain to change. They basically don't feel bad enough to change. We tend to change when either we feel so bad we can't stay where we are, or there's something so compelling, pleasure, that we gravitate towards it. So using Occam's Razor, if you have shoulds in your life that you're not making musts, example, I should go to the gym, I must go to the gym. It's because you haven't got enough pain yet. Or because it's just not worth that much to you. And I think this is where you've got to be really honest. A lot of times we tell ourselves, that there is something that we really want and we should want it, but we actually don't care enough. We can be very dishonest with ourselves. That's worth knowing too. We sort of go, I really want to get fitter, I really want to be healthier, but we really don't want it enough to change. So we have to do some hard work with ourselves. We have to, on the pain side, what you can do is go, get your journal out, make a list and go, if I don't do this, if I don't turn this should into a must, what is all the pain that will happen? It could be dramatic, maybe it's not dramatic. Or you get the other question, what will I gain if I do this? What's the potential pleasure from turning this should into a must? I give an example in the podcast of a friend of mine from many years ago who had to go to kidney dialysis. I think it was twice a day. So hours a day in the hospital, because his kidneys were not functioning. And I used to say on stage that, that dialysis is like not a should, it's a must, right? It's not optional. Because think about it, if you say to yourself, I should go to my dialysis appointment, what's the pain of not going, right? It's very significant, right? So you associate enormous pain with telling yourself I should go. You must go, you have to go. And the pleasure is that you live longer and you're there with your family and your life continues, right? Even if it's curtailed by the dialysis. Do you see the example? It's an extreme example, but, people don't sit around going, oh, I wonder if I should go to dialysis. Anybody who ever ends up in that situation knows that they must go to dialysis because the pain and the pleasure parts are so extreme. So we just need to leverage that kind of concept. If you want to turn your should to a must, identify the pain of not changing, and then identify the pleasure of potential change, the upside. And to do that, if you go to the podcast, I think it's season 6, and I think it's episodes 51, 52, 53, 54. I do a 4-part series on Gabrielle Oettingen's WOOP goal setting, WOOP. Excuse me. And that WOOP goal setting, WOOP, is very helpful. W stands for wish. What is it that we want? Don't worry about the goal, just the general wish. Like, I want to be richer or healthier or fitter or in a better relationship. W, then the O of WOOP is outcome. A lot of the times we conflate those two and we need to disentangle them. The wish is the broad idea of what you want. The outcome is what you get when you achieve it. See, the wish might be to eat better. I want to eat better, right? That's a wish. Why do you want to eat better? Well, then that's the outcome, right? The outcome is I'll look better, I'll feel more confident, my health will be better, I'll live longer, I'll have more energy. So you got the broadest level, which is the wish. Then you got the O, the outcome. The second O in WOOP is the obstacles. You've got to get clear on, if I try to turn this should into a must, what are all the obstacles I'm going to hit? Well, time or money or busyness or distraction, so you list all your obstacles. And then finally you have P in WOOP, plan. You have a plan. So you literally write down, this is what I'm going to do. These are the steps I take. This is what it's going to look like. So I really recommend that series of podcasts. Okay, summary. We all got them, my friends. We all got them. We all got wishes that we're not turning into outcomes because we're not turning shoulds into musts. Tell yourself the truth. That's the first key step. You've got to tell yourself the truth. Be honest with yourself. Maybe the reason you haven't turned a should into a must is because you genuinely don't care. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to care about everything. But if it is important, then use some of these tools around pleasure and pain and telling yourself the truth and the WOOP system to move yourself forward. All right, let's keep that short. That's it for today. Go check out these links. Book me to speak. Check out Karen's masterclass. Please make sure you're subscribed. Post something in the comments. Let me know what you think. What's your journey with this? What do you find hard about shoulds and musts? Put something in the comments. Let me know. My name's Jonathan Doyle. This has been The Daily Message. You and I are going to talk again tomorrow.